James Kaufman, World News Report today, March 28, 2025. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. In breaking news, we have had 3 large earthquakes strike planet Earth in the last several hours, the largest being a 7.7 magnitude earthquake, a very large quake in Mandalay, Burma, near Thailand. This is a big quake. It came in as a 9 on the DYFI, as a 9 on the shake map, a red on the pager. They have a default depth of 10 kilometers. We have footage coming out of Mandalay, and it's horrific. Entire buildings have tumbled into nothing. We have hundreds of people missing currently. There's been a swarm right there for some reason in that area. We're going to go over. There's also a 6.6 just under the 7.7, an aftershock. See if we can. Well, the USGS has it as a 6.7. Also, Burma, Myanmar, coming in as a 7 on the DYFI. Coming in as a 8 on the shake map, orange pager, default depth 10 kilometers. And there's another 12 to 15 earthquakes that have hit this small area here. We will zoom in and take a look. Obviously, it's a volcanic area, and these are all faults and old magma that have moved through these areas here. And these are your big quakes, the 6.7. The 7.0 almost on top of each other, and unfortunately in a populated area here. So we're going to see exactly what this looks like. We have pictures again coming in off of Twitter. Now our central or mid-Atlantic ridge also saw a 6.6 just in the last few hours. They have it at a depth of 6.4 kilometers, which is not correct. It is on that plate tectonic boundary, and these are actually on a plate tectonic boundary too, as you can see coming through here. Lots of movement. We have been having our plates charged by solar activity for the last 3 days, so we're all expecting an uptick in earthquake activity, but nothing like this. Let's see how strong these quakes were. All right, we'll start with the 7.7. French came in at 6.9. Laughable. The Germans came in at 7.7. USGS, main source, 7.7, default depth. We'll get some detailed information about that right now. Major 7.7 magnitude earthquake, as you can see here. And this is going to be, well, very close to populated area, because we're going to see the entire cities were destroyed. This is where we can get a feel for the strength of one of these earthquakes here at USGS main reporting agency here, 7.7. Look down here, 334.4 atomic bombs worth of energy released. Now that was some quake, ladies and gentlemen. 334.4 atomic bombs of energy released. Comparing our quake data from different reporting agencies, USGS comes in first, 7.7, default depth. And we have Germany coming in at 7.72, 24 kilometer depth. I don't know if they have much more sophisticated equipment all of a sudden or what. We also see the French coming in with 2 decimal points at a 6.96. So basically a 7. That's going to be the highest the French have ever rated an earthquake. Default depth, 10 kilometers. We're going to go down to Indonesia, BMKG, and they're coming in at a 7.6 default depth. Raspberry Shake usually follows the USGS. And they have, with a 7.7 default depth, 10 kilometers. The, well, Italians came in at a 7.7 as well. They have it at 17 kilometers. And the Incorporated Research Institute for Seismology came in at 7.7 default depth. The Australians came in at 7.8. A 7.8 default depth. And we have our Europeans coming in at 7.7, also at default depth. And wow, the Thailand Seismic Center came in at 8.2. 8.2. That is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. All right, next we have that same swarm there of about 15 to 20 large earthquakes, a 6.7. 6.7. Let's get some more information. Here we have a 6.7 USGS main reporting. French came in at a 5.9. Germans a 6.5. Let's get some detailed information about that. Look at that swarm they have on their hands there out of nowhere. We are on a plate boundary, and this is, well, a very active volcanic area. Heading over to volcanodiscovery.com. Instead of a major, we have a very strong magnitude 6.4 earthquake. Now, we had the USGS call it out as a 6.7 magnitude earthquake. So we're going to keep our eyes on this and see what the different agencies have to say about it. It says it was an aftershock of the 7.7 quake. And here we go. They're calling it a 6.4, and the USGS is calling it a 6.4. This must have been upgraded since this came out on Volcano Discovery. It's a 6.7 currently on the USGS real-time map over there. I think that they did upgrade this one. It looks like it only released 3.8 atomic bombs worth of energy compared to 334.4 atomic bombs worth of energy. What a difference. A 6.4 or 6.7 and a 7.7. A 7.7 is supposed to be 100 times stronger than a 6.7. All right, I believe the USGS has upgraded this because on their real-time map they have it as a 6.7. Here it says 6.4. I didn't see any additional earthquakes, so I think this is the right one. We've got a 6.4. We have the French coming in at 5.99. We have the Germans coming in at 6.48. There's a 6.7 coming out of Indonesia, which is exactly what the USGS had to say. 119 kilometers. They have a good depth on it. And then the Europeans are coming in at 6.4, 12 kilometers of depth. We have the Incorporated Research Institute for Seismology also coming in at 6.4. Default depth, Australia coming in at 6.14. Default depth. And let's see what else we have. We have the Italians coming in at 5.5. Very strange. They have it at 115 kilometers of depth, so it's probably fairly accurate since we saw 118 kilometers. And we have the Thailand Seismic Center coming in at 7.1 default depth as well. With all those quakes, guys, they're going through hell in that area right now. Next up, Central Mid-Atlantic Ridge, a 6.6, and obviously this depth's got to be incorrect here. So this is another big quake right on a plate boundary, just as these are on a plate tectonic boundary themselves. I don't know of a lot of volcanoes in this area here, but this is a major slip, and this is over here a volcanic area. So let's get some additional information on this 6.6. I can expect these to continue into the evening based on what the West Coast looks like. Let's hope and pray the West Coast of the U.S. is not hit with one of these large quakes. All right, here we are on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. A 6.1 is what they're calling it out, the USGS. They just called it out as a 6.6. I don't know if this is a downgrade or an upgrade, but they're moving the numbers quite a bit here. The difference between a 6.1 and a 6.0. The 6.1 is supposed to be 10 times stronger. Give you a little bit idea of how the scale works. The Europeans came in at a 6.1. And let's get some detailed information. Back to volcano discovery from volcanosandearthquakes.com. We see a 6.1 again. So it has been perhaps downgraded. Central American Ridge. Let's get some additional information. All right, a 6.1. I want to say this has been upgraded because the information at the USGS's site is up to date. So I want to say this has been upgraded to a 6.6, perhaps. What we're seeing here is a 6.1, USGS main reporting agency, and 1.3 atomic bombs of energy released with this earthquake. Getting to really rock and roll. The planet is shaking. Comparing the quake data, we see the Europeans came in at 6.1, 4.9 kilometers. The Colombian government came in at 6.1, or strange. Agency to chime in, Raspberry Shake of 5.8, the French of 5.3, Incorporated Research Institute for Seismology of 6.1, the Italians of 5.9, we've got the Australians coming in at 6.06. This is Miramar with 7.7 hit. You can see the entire town has been destroyed. We've had high-rises leveled, and they were most probably filled with people. We've got a huge, huge problem on our hands here. You can see that everyone was affected, not just one or two homes. I will show you that high-rise actually falling. All right, these are the infinity pools. They're throughout town, high-end. There were people swimming in these pools when this occurred. I saw several of them scramble to get away from the water that was being forced over. Unbelievable. These are the very high-end infinity pools and the high-end high-rises here. This is quite a sight. I will tell y'all. That is what one of the pools looks like. Probably not a great place to be. Unbelievable. Imagine how much that building is moving that far up. Look at this subway car move. There's a building that just fell to the ground. There's another building that just fell to the ground. This is unbelievable footage. We have another building falling to the ground right there. Let's see if I can catch it here. Their building codes probably aren't, well, as rigid as the ones in California. Lord. Looks like another 911 to me. Here we are in Thailand. Somehow there's an earthquake survivor in the rubble here crying out for help. I don't know how injured he is, but there's a lot of rebar there. And I don't know how far he fell with that building. Unbelievable footage. And here's a best look at the one building that we know fell. I see that crane there. We're going to have to get a report later to see if this was all one building in different directions being shot, or if several high-rises fell to the ground. Reports are stating that several high-rises have fallen and that hundreds and hundreds of people are, quote-unquote, missing currently. What a catastrophe, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you and yours. Please share, subscribe, and always remember that anything's possible. Bizarro world.